All right, everybody, let's talk about brains. Shall we talk about brains? Brains are fun, right? We like them. They're good for us. We're going to talk about brains. So tonight we're going to talk about brain, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia, and other fun things of the brain. Yes? All right. So how important is your brain for full function of your body? How important is it? Mike, tell me. How important? Come on, louder. 100%. All right. I got to turn on the mic. Hold on. I don't need a mic. I have a big mouth, right? You guys can still hear me, right? Is that better with the mic, though? It doesn't matter. Make no difference. All right. So first of all, why do you come to dinners and events and makeovers and all these programs? Why do you come? Because the number one essential is what? Maximizing your... That's it. So we make sure you guys come to these events, because out in the world, what they're teaching is it's basically a lie. They're saying that it's scary out there. We got to protect ourselves. People are evil. But the truth of the matter is there's a different direction. There's a better answer. And the answer is in the 5 essentials. Fair enough? All right. So make sure you guys have a lead sheet. I know I've asked you to do this a million times. My apologies, but this is the only way I know how to serve a nation. But let's make sure you guys write down the names of those 10 people tonight. Turn those in. We'll take you and them out to dinner. Okay? All right. Now, also save the date. So save this date. That is February 21st. And then the next date is Kickstart Your Metabolism. Okay? Who wants to increase your body, lean muscle mass, less fat? Who wants to look like this guy versus that girl? Okay? Who wants that? Anybody? So that's what this next program is about. So make sure you get scheduled for that. Save March 11th, Saturday. It's going to be a makeover. So it's an intensive. We'll have lunch provided. We're going to probably do some cool t-shirts. It's going to be pretty awesome. Okay? So make sure you do that. So brain games, building a better brain. Why now? Why now? That nothing to do with older, because this is interesting. Check this out. Okay, it's funny you said older. So why now? Look, these are 2022 Alzheimer's facts. Okay, these are the facts from the people that know. Here it comes. Now, preclinical associated dementia. Okay, this is where you go in, they run an MRI, and they find these damaged neurofibrillary tangles in your brain. Okay, now here's the thing. Once it's there and you're screwed. It's irreversible and it's progressive and will not stop. All the drugs that they've created will slow the progression. That's the best you've got. All right, but in about 3 to 5 years, it's pretty much over and your brain is gone. And now, you guys realize there's not enough memory care facilities they're building right now. There's not enough of them to house the number of people who are going to end up with Alzheimer's by 2030. That's not very far away. It's going to be nuts. So we start off with no symptoms, but all the stuff showing up on your MRI. Then you have mild impairment. You have severe impairment. It interferes with your daily activities. Then before you know it, it's interfering with every activity, and now you can't even function. You don't remember your friends, you don't remember your neighbors. I mean, I had a clip, but I took it out because it just didn't have enough material. I had 110 slides, okay, which is about a 6-hour program. That's what I do. I build this 6-hour program and I cut it down into something that's more palatable for everybody. You're welcome. All right. But the point being is that imagine for a moment not being able to remember. My sister had all kinds of this junk in her brain. Okay, and she passed away. And it was horrible. She couldn't remember things. She would just randomly talk and then she would forget. She would cry randomly. It's nasty. The worst thing, I can't even fathom the worst possible thing. I'd rather fight cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and keep my brain. Just imagine. It would make you just insane to not be able to remember things. Okay? 1 in 4 people think there's nothing can be done to prevent dementia. 1 in 4 people. Now this is the scarier part. Check this out. 2 in 3 people still think dementia is caused by normal aging, and this is the part that breaks my heart right here, this one. Okay? 69% of healthcare providers think that dementia is a normal part of aging. 69% of doctors think that. That's insanity. It's not natural to lose your marbles. It's not. It's ludicrous for them to believe that when there's solutions and answers out there. And the answers you're going to find out tonight. Signs of the declining brain. Forget where you put things, names, faces, whatever, right? Lost my car keys for the 4,000th time, okay? You have difficulty remembering conversations. You forget what you wanted to say mid-sentence, okay? Stumbling on words, suffering to find words, okay? You experience regular brain fog where you can't think clearly and process. I don't know what's wrong. I just can't think straight, you know? And that's a sign of early decline. That can happen in your teens. 2 of 3 victims of dementia is going to be a woman. No, I don't know why. Why are you raising your hand? That's going to be you. Hopefully not. By age 45, look at this. By age 45, 1 in 5 for women. Men is 1 in 10. By age 65, 50-50. Roll the dice. Boom. It's going to be you or not, right? Actually, flip a coin. Dice is better odds than that. See how crazy that is? Guys, this is all preventable. And that's why you're here tonight, to make sure this isn't going to happen. So oxidation, what's that got to do with dementia? Everything. Everything. Now watch. This is what the inside of your brain looks like. Okay? It's rust. That's what oxidation is. Your brain is rusting. It's that simple. All right? So the brain gets rusty inside. And so what happens is you get these free radicals that ultimately start to multiply. It's like a domino effect inside your brain. So you get one free radical, kick down the domino, and guess what happens? It just keeps going and going and going. And before you know it, it takes over the entire brain. So antioxidants are the protector that donate electrons to stop this domino effect. So we've got to make sure we have antioxidants going on inside of our bodies. Okay? So the free radicals will protect you. The free radicals, we're removing them from the antioxidants. So let's just get a big bottle of antioxidants and go home. Thanks for coming. It's a great show. Thanks for coming out. You know I'm not done. Come on. Okay? It's never that easy, is it? Okay? But let's get a good start. So this is what your brain will look like under oxidative damage. Okay? Picture the oxidation. That's all it is rust. Okay? This is what that car looks like under a microscope. Okay? Now look at a brain, and this is the brain under a microscope with dementia. Looks the same because it's oxidative damage. Okay? And then you see it in different slices. And these are all post-mortem. These people are dead and they slice their brains open to find all this stuff. All this is oxidative damage causing the neurofibrillary tangles inside the brain. So this is the hippocampus. This is the brain. This is where your memories are stored. And look at all those big blotches and things inside the brain. Look at that fiber tract just destroyed. Cortex, look. Okay, and that's going to be short-term memory, long-term memory. If it affects your hippocampus, your amygdala, you start getting emotional breakdown. Depends on where the area of the brain gets affected the most. But look at all this crap down in here. So pretty yucky, yeah? So basically your brain is on fire. That's pretty much the take home. Your brain is completely on fire and it needs to be put out. Okay? So what do we got to do to protect a rusted brain? Now this is daily defense. This is for oxidative protection of the body. Now this is important. You're going to learn why. So this is the first supplement on your list, daily defense. This is an antioxidant that will protect your body from oxidative stress. Because there's challenges that occur as there's a commingling between the brain and the body. Did you know that the body had a blood supply? Who knows that? Anybody in the room? That's why I put duh up there, okay? Now, the next part here comes, ready? Did you know that the brain has its own blood supply? And it's not blood. It's called cerebral spinal fluid. Something called the choroid plexus deep in your brain secretes this goo, okay, that floats in and goes down the outside of the spinal cord, comes up the central canal, and comes back up and is resorbed. So it circulates just like blood, okay? So the body has a blood supply and the brain has a blood supply called cerebral spinal fluid. Got it? Now, did you know that the body has an immune system? You know that one. I didn't put duh up there, but I should have. Okay? But did you know that the central nervous system has its own immune system called the microglial system? Okay? It's the immune system of the central nervous system. And the blood system and the immune system don't talk to. They're not very nice people. They fight all the time. The cerebral spinal fluid and the microglial system can't talk to each other. Okay, they shouldn't talk to each other because that's what leads to the oxidative damage. They're so small and so tight That's how nutrition gets from the blood vessel through these tiny little junctions into your brain. But they're not going to let immune things come through. Blood's not going to come through. Toxins shouldn't go through. All right? You understand? So we got to get nutrients to the brain, but it comes through these little gaps in these feet that the astrocyte put around the blood vessel. Okay? So far, so good. Everybody got it? Not too crazy yet? Okay? All right. So oxidative stress starts causing a leak. All right? So we get our body under oxidative stress. That's why we need the daily defense to bring down oxidative damage. It starts to damage those feet. And before you know it, the feet start letting go and the gaps get really wide, like my little damaged rust right here. So imagine blood vessels and toxins and stuff entering into the brain. Got it so far? Okay. All right. So what happens? They start to merge. And guess what happens? Dementia. So the battle rages. Here it goes. So this is dementia. There's a nerve cell right there. There's the dendrites and the different axons. These things right here are called neurofibrillary tangles, these clusters. And what they do is they bind themselves to the neuron, to the dendrites. So when this cell tries to talk to this cell, they don't talk. And I can't remember things. And I can't remember. I can't move my arm. I can't function properly. Things just start breaking down. Neurofibrillary tangles because of tau proteins and something called, Rachel, what are they called? Very good. She is so freaking smart, that girl. She knows everything. She's really smart. Ask her a question. She knows. I couldn't remember that, and she told me. Okay? Because I have brain dementia, apparently. Okay? There's a close-up of it. Can you see that? So if this cell tries to talk to this cell, it can't because of those proteins that bind up in the brain, because of the oxidative damage. So your body's oxidation, the free radicals start passing and start eating away at the feet of the astrocyte. It opens up, there's a big gap, and all this junk starts going into the brain. And these things start to show up. Then the battle starts to rage. Okay? Here's the battle, starting to fight. Now you have the microglial system and the immune system commingling, and they don't like each other very much. And so now you start getting brain oxidation in the extreme. Okay? There's casualties, and the casualty is your brain. There's your brain, full of that now oxidative damage because of the autoimmunity of the microglial system. You heard of autoimmune condition like lupus or something like that, or RA. It's the same thing for your brain. So now your microglial system starts to attack itself. Now, autoimmune mediated encephalitis. We see that on neuroimaging, and those are the pictures I showed you earlier. Okay? So we got to support the microglial system. There's two parts to this. Now, we've got to do the first thing we've got to support the immune system. So we're going to use the neuroflam, which is going to help to boost the microglial system to support it against the battle of the oxidant and the commingling in the other system. Yes? Did I lose anybody on that one? Okay. We need neuroflam NT. That's going to help to seal up the blood-brain barrier so that goop can't come through. So far, so good? All right. Awesome. Next. So, how do you know that you're experiencing oxidative stress? Well, the first one is the wrinkles on your face and the gray hair and the joint pains and all those things. That's a classic sign that you're under oxidative stress. Okay? But other things, overconsumption of processed foods, stress, poor sleep, general lack of application of what? Tell me. 5 essentials, right? Which is what we preach, right? But I'm going to do something today. Let's go old school. Okay? Check this out. There's the new version right there. Does that look like a spine to you? Does that? Yeah, I like the old school. We're going to go old school tonight, all right? Because I want to get the old school stuff. I'm the old guy. So, prolonged stress leads to anxiety and trouble with your body, okay? Stress literally shrinks your brain. So here's how she works, okay? When we get under stress, what happens to adrenaline? It goes up. Now, when adrenaline goes up, what's cortisol do? Cortisol goes up. What's cortisol manufacture? What does it create? Sugar. Dr. Ray, I haven't touched sugar in 1,700 years. And yet, your sugars are out of control. It's because of the body taking protein, converting it into sugar, and then you're still getting that sugar and that inflammatory oxidative damage from that. Okay? When you're under stress, think about this, okay? Here comes the bear. He's going to come get you. All right? Now, what should you be doing when the bear comes? What'd you say, babe? Okay, that's nice, but here's the thing. Now, here's the thing, though. When you get attacked by a bear, do you want to be going, here comes the bear? Well, you want your cerebral cortex to be full, and you're going to think about this. And, should I use a stick to fight him? Maybe a gun. I don't know. Maybe my pocket. Maybe my bear spray. I don't know. What should I use? By that time, what's happened? He's chewed you up and spit you out. So you do not want to have brain perfusion, no blood, when you're being attacked by a bear. Okay? The problem is the bear is where? Everywhere. Out there in the world, right? You're sitting in traffic. Honk, 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 right? And then everybody's yelling at you. Everybody's angry. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's frustrated, right? With all this crap we've been going through. So everybody's on a chronic state of stress, which means your brain is not getting the blood it needs. You with me? So if you don't get blood to the brain, what do you get? Neurodegenerative changes. The brain simply starts to shrink and get damaged. And literally, chronic stress shrinks your brain. Okay? So things that'll help: diet, exercise, prayer, meditation, and so on. Okay? So essential number one, we can't prevent stress, but we can do a better job of managing it. Yes? That's the challenge right there, because you can't eliminate it. So what are you going to do? Get a good night's rest, listen to your favorite music, exercise and eat. Prioritize your time. Talk to friends about your problems. Don't hold it in. Take 15, 20-minute power nap. Laugh. Watch silly videos. Read a book. Watch a positive show. Meditate, journal, and prayer. Yes? Those are great ideas, great solutions for helping you mitigate stress. Right? It's not going to eliminate it. Still there. But you got to give yourself a break. So your brain can now get the blood supply it needs. It then goes into the and penetrates those tiny little barriers, right? Goes in and all the wonderful nutrients enter the brain, the magnesium and the calcium and all the wonderful proteins and everything the brain needs to function. Right, Emily? Right? Makes sense? All right. So this is a post-traumatic stress disorder brain, and this is a normal brain. Now this area right here, this is the hippocampus. Now the hippocampus, when you're on a college campus, where's the library? It's on the campus, right? So this is where you store long-term memories. So what occurs, generally speaking, here's what happens. Okay, you get an input of some variety. Okay, and it goes, we call it the breeze through the trees. The trees are your cerebral cortex. That's short-term memory. Like you say, oh, that was cool. Yeah, that's a cute little sweater you're wearing. That's beautiful. And then I walk over here and go, I didn't remember that at all because it wasn't vital to my survival. But if I see it over and over and over again, I think I need that. I'm going to buy that for myself because I need to wear that. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So that where it starts in the breeze through the trees, then it penetrates and becomes a part of who we are in the campus. And that's where long-term memory comes from. But what happens under chronic stress, decreased brain perfusion with blood, right? Lack of nutrition, the hippocampus goes from that size into that oval shrinking mess. And that's why our armed forces guys go through all that crap. Or, how about a woman who's being abused? Or how about you're in a chronic situation with a boss? Or, whatever it might be. Right? Whatever that chronic stress is, starts to shrink up your hippocampus, and you wonder why you can't remember your name some days. Make sense? Chronic stress, though, will cause this to become permanent. Right? I just said all this. Okay? Oh, there it is. Beta amyloid toxic buildup causing the dementia. Okay? Adrenal revive. This has all kinds of cool phytonutrients inside of it to help support your adrenal glands to bring down stress. Okay? Let me rephrase that. Bring down the stress response. The stress doesn't go away. You just don't freak out over it. Okay? So the next supplement is going to be Adrenal Revive, number 4. Okay? Got it? All right, moving on. Okay? Lack of sleep. This is going to kill. Yeah, you got it, brother. Okay? Here's what happens. When you wake up, this is your adrenal response. Okay? And there's a person in this room near and dear to my heart who went through this completely. Okay? So here's what happens. First thing in the morning, is your body under stress, yes or no? Okay, you ready for this? Absolutely yes. Okay, you know why? Because you've been starving for 8 hours. So the brain says, dude, wake up, wake up. So what's it going to do? It's going to shoot up cortisol. Adrenaline's going to go up. And what's going to happen? Boom, you're going to wake up because sugar is going to wake you up. Hey, good morning. Nice to see you. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen. It's called the cortisol activation response. So it shoots up, okay, when you wake up in the morning. So there's cortisol goes up and boom, you wake up. And then over the course of time, you go to bed and it drops off. Okay, that's normal. What happens typically is when we're under chronic stress, we become inverted. Okay, first thing in the morning, okay, you're under chronic stress. So what happens in the middle of the afternoon, what do you take a shot of? Coffee, caffeine, something to a stimulant, maybe a Monster or whatever your caffeine of choice is. Okay, and so when you get to night time, what's happening is your adrenals are kicking up cortisol and you're staring at the ceiling wondering why you can't sleep. Then about 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, finally you slowly start to drift off as melatonin goes up. Cortisol, melatonin makes you sleep, cortisol makes you wake up. And so they start to invert, and just about the time the alarm goes off, your melatonin is maxed out and your cortisol is tanked and the alarm goes off. And you wake up and say, oh my God, is it morning already? And you get up and what's the first thing you reach for? Where's my coffee? Right? And it starts you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. All right? Trying to stimulate that response. So you're sleepy in the morning and wide awake at night. Okay? Then what happens? The adrenals shut down. Okay? They're cooked, they're toast. Doesn't matter what you do, you can't get them to work anymore. This is where you start getting things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. You end up with all these horrible joint pains and aches. It's absolutely miserable. Okay? And somebody near and dear to my heart who experienced this was me. It took me 2 years to get out of this crap. Okay? It's hard. Because you push, then you want the coffee to get you through, then you can't sleep, and your adrenals are tanked. It takes about 2 to 3 years to recover from that. It's nasty, but it's a good way to recover. Making sense so far? How important is sleep? So there's this thing right here called the cortisol activation response. You can make it work in your favor. Here's what you do. You wake up in the morning. Oh, how do you know you're having it? Blood pressure starts to increase. My blood pressure is ridiculously high. Couldn't focus and remember. Frequent colds. Sleep late on the weekends. Blood sugar creeping up. Now think about this. My blood sugars were ridiculously high and I don't eat sugar. It's coming from the adrenal glands manufacturing sugar from protein. You understand the challenge I was having? But I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it until my body said, I'm done. You're going to freaking listen to me and do what I told you, or we're going to have a battle here, kids. Okay? Can't shut off those pounds, consume caffeine all day, and can't stop hitting the snooze button. Kind of makes sense? So how do we fix this? Okay? We're going to do the HIIT training in the morning. High intensity interval training. I'm not talking a full 12 minutes. I'm talking 30 seconds. You're going to jump out of bed. Okay? You're not going to hit the snooze button. It's going to suck. Okay? I'm telling you right now, if you're in this situation, it's going to be horrible. But you get your fanny out of bed. You drag your fanny out. If it's sunlight, beautiful. If it's not, oh well. But the best approach is natural sunlight. So if you can open your shades and sleep in the darkest dark if you can. But first thing in the morning, sunlight. Look right at the sun if you can, and that's going to stimulate your cortisol response to start to go up. Okay? Now, if you don't have the natural light, we'll go to Home Depot or whatever, buy a natural bulb with natural frequencies and stare at the bulb. That will stimulate cortisol response. Then what you're going to do is you're going to run in place. Okay? We call it fire ants. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Really fast, just go. Now you're only going to go for a bit. You're not going to go for hours. Here's the thing. How do you know you're in the middle of this? When you finish a workout, now you're going to be tired, right? Because you worked out. But how should you feel? You should feel energized and tired, not exhausted and want to go back to bed. I never felt so good in my whole life when I was in this situation when I quit working out. Because I was just, after workouts, I was just like, I got to go to bed. I had no energy because I was tanked. So I had to take a period of time off. I was petrified to go back to working out after it happened. Okay? So no more than 5 minutes. But the minute you feel tired from doing that in the morning, you're done. I don't care if it's 1 minute, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, but don't go more than 10. Okay? No more than 5, 5. Okay? Then take acetyl ACH. Now, there's 2 neurotransmitters in the body. There's more than that, but these are the 2 basics. You have adrenaline. Everybody knows how that one works, right? Get you spizzed up and going, right? Now, acetylcholine is the one that gets stimulated during the rest and digest vagal relaxation response. So what acetyl ACH does, this supplement is really cool because it acts like caffeine without the crash and without the jitters. Who'd like to have that kind of feeling? And that's what this does. Okay? So what does it do? It acts like, it's called glycerol phosphocholine. Okay? Acetyl ACH. This is the bomb diggity stuff right here. Okay? This will give you the energy you're looking for without the crash and the burn. And all you're doing is building neurotransmitters the body needs from taking the raw material. Cool? All right. And here we go right here. So caffeine has been shown to increase mental focus and performance. However, the nervous and anxious feeling is the consequence. This stuff called alpha-glycerol phosphatidylcholine works beautifully and doesn't have the negative effects. Sound good? Nutrition. What should you be eating? Okay. Watch out for allergenic foods. Who's heard of the modified elimination diet? Anybody? Beth, good job. Okay. Here's what you do. You go into basically stop eating everything that's complicated. Okay. What's a complicated meal? Worst one be like a McDonald's hamburger. How much stuff is in a McDonald's hamburger? Whole bunch of stuff. So if you react to a McDonald's hamburger, what caused it? Who knows? There's a million chemicals and things in it, right? So you start eating isolated foods. You give yourself a breather. Don't eat fast for 24 hours. And then you start adding food back into your diet. Whole foods, like a whole apple, right? Or a whole carrot. And watch what happens. If your body reacts to it, guess what? Me no eat that no more. Okay? Make sense to everybody? Then as you work your way through that, then you start eating more complicated foods. Things that are put together, like in a meal, like a pepper, one of the pepper things in the recipe. The ground, what do they call it, Angela? You cook them? And the peppers in the oven. Stuffed peppers. Thank you, God. Maybe I need to listen to my own stuff, huh? Couldn't think of it. All right? But whatever. So eat more complicated stuff and find out if there's certain combinations that are making you sick. If you find a combination, that ain't for you no more. Okay? Make sense? That's modified elimination diet. Now, these are some wonderful foods. Magnesium, guys, is deficient in 100% of everybody. I can stamp it on your forehead right now. Because our food supply is so tainted from the way we make our food, there's just not enough magnesium in our diet. Almost every person I test, I would say almost everybody, I even say 100% don't have enough magnesium. So that's why magnesium is in the men's and women's essentials, because it's so crucial. And it's used in every single function inside the body. So magnesium, make sure you're getting, there's great food sources of it as well. And then folate, methylated tetrahydrofolic, folic acid. Okay? The problem with folic acid is in the US population, there's a thing called the MTHFR defect. It's a genetic defect where they can't process folic acid. Okay? So what you got to do is methylated folic acid. Now there's a test I can run on you. Runs about anywhere from $300 to $500 to prove you have that defect. Or you can just take the folic acid we have here, which is methylated, for $12. What makes more sense? Right? So all of our folic acid here and all the B vitamins are all methylated to make sure that it won't affect anybody with the MTHFR defect. So there's no reason to test it and prove that, wow, congratulations, $500 later, I proved I got something that I would have been taking the supplement for anyway.
Beets too, correct?
Beets are good too. Zinc. Zinc is crucially important for brain function. Okay? So make sure you're getting adequate amounts of zinc. Now, if you're supplementing with zinc, how do you know when you've got enough? Anybody? Okay, you put it in your mouth, and then you keep double down on the dosing until you start tasting metal. Okay, when you taste metal, that's your dosing back off a little bit. Make sense? Because when you start taking, zinc is a metal, right? You start taking it, and you start tasting metal. That's too much. Back off a little bit, and that's your dose. Yeah, and that also affects immune system, all kinds of good stuff. Get your camera. Okay, this is a brain boosting smoothie. It's a great one. So take a picture and do this smoothie because it's going to be, number one, it's yummy. Number two, it's good to help your brain. Okay? I know, you're the slowpoke in the group. We know who it is. I didn't. Dang it. I hate it when you do stuff that I like. Okay, everybody good? Move on? All right, so make sure you have that. Now, chiropractic. Now, this is the coolest part of brain function. If you are not a patient, by God, become one. Because we do corrective chiropractic, which is going to affect your brain. Now, when we think about the brain, all right, there's two parts. The output system and the input system, correct? Now, we, as a chiropractor, we always brag about the output system. You misalign your spine, damage the nerve of your stomach's not going to work. Misalign spine, damage the nerve of your lungs aren't going to work. Damage the nerve to your brain ain't going to work, right? So we got to make sure those nerves are connected. But what really heals the brain is the input system. What are the 5 inputs? Taste, touch, feel, all the 5 senses. So that's how they come into the body. So the brain receives inputs, maybe through the eyes. It goes into your cortex. The cortex determines what it needs to do, fight the bear or eat the food or go for a walk or whatever it decides to do. And then it stimulates the output system to increase heart rhythm, digest food, to do whatever it's supposed to do. Input, output, input, output. Make sense to everybody? Okay, so it's this input system which is crucial to good brain function. So, and I got some neat MRIs to show you. Or PET scans, actually. Okay? So how do you detect abnormal alignment of the bones? X-ray. But remember, I don't care about the bones. I care about what the bones are protecting. And when you've got a perfect 45-degree curve in your neck, and straight from, so it's the neck, mid, and lower back, and straight from the front, the brain gets proper inputs, sends out appropriate outputs, and your brain function increases. It's cool. So how do you know? You got to do a structural x-ray. We're a structural correction office. We are not a pain management facility. Our goal is not to eliminate your back pain, neck pain, and headaches and watch you get dementia. Our goal is to make sure you get a fully functioning nervous system so your body can function at its absolute peak. Beautiful, beautiful health. That's all it's about. It's all about health, right? So it's all about the input or the afferent system or input system. It's the upstream information going towards the brain, not so much the stuff that goes away. But I mean, they're both important, but that when we're talking about brain function, it's the input system. So how do you know you're having some connection problems? Babies, infants, toddlers. Oh my God, you're adjusting children? Babies, for Christ's sake, how can you do such an evil thing? This guy texted me, so that picture of adjusting the babies when they just got born, the twins. How could you abuse a child like that? I'm like, oh my Lord, you need to grow a brain and come to a seminar, right? So colicky, in fact, we just started a new baby just now, right? So we got colic, digestive trouble, latching issues, eczema, ear infections, autoimmune. ADDH in the teens, sports injuries, depression, self-esteem, hormonal issues, skin reactions, adults, headaches, neck pain, ear infections, menstrual dizziness. This is not an all-inclusive list, right? Because we could go on for days on what it could be because it's everything, because it's the nervous system which controls everything, right? So that's how we got to get it happening, okay? So I love this, called the safety pin cycle. Body and brain. When the brain and body are connected, the body is in ease. When it gets disconnected because the bone crushes the nerve, we're now in dis-ease or disease. Kind of cool, yeah? It's called the safety pin cycle. All right, this is the coolest slide ever. All right, so this is on the pictures on the left-hand side. This is a guy inside of a PET scan machine, And what they did is they had him lay there and just sit quietly. And all they had him do was wiggle his index finger. Okay? Now, when you wiggle the index finger, how much effort should that cause your brain? Minimal, almost nothing, right? This is nothing, just moving your pinky finger. But the problem is when you're sending the inputs and you get dis-ease because the safety pin cycle is damaged, the brain doesn't know where it's supposed to go. So it turns on all kinds of crap, trying to figure out how to move that finger for you and what it means to move that finger. So this shows the brain before an adjustment. So the input from the pinky went up the spine into the brain, and it was searching everywhere. Oh my God, what does this mean? Are we getting attacked by a bear? Oh my God, should we signal the stomach? Oh my God, what should we do? The brain's just freaking out, right? And that was from moving the index finger. One adjustment, one corrective adjustment, look at that. Same index finger, same movement. It knew right what to do. Oh, this is nothing, just relax. Let's go do something else. Let's go have some fun. Let's digest some food. Let's go on a walk, you know? But imagine you trying to function through your day when you're doing normal activities of walking and moving and talking to friends and blah, 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 and you wonder why you can't even formulate words. And over the long term, what do you think this leads to? Dementia, Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative diseases. Why is chiropractic so important? This is why. It gets the nervous system working and your body gets to freaking be healthy. Because, see, understand, all the supplements we've talked about and the different eating strategies really is irrelevant if you don't have a connection to your stomach and stomach to your brain. Because it's all going to end up in the same place, in the poop chute, if you don't digest and absorb it. And that's what the brain does. The brain does everything. Okay? Exercise, kind of an important part of for the brain, yes? Okay? Standard cardio versus high intensity short burst training. Which one's more effective for your brain function? Okay? So what's the best kind? The kind you'll do. Right? If you like to ride a bike, ride a bike. If you like to go for a walk, go for a walk. If you like to swim, go swimming. If you like to lift weights, lift weights. Anything's better than sitting on your fan and not exercising. Movement is life. Okay? Test this someday, okay? How many people have ever seen a corpse at a funeral or something? Anybody? Raise your hand. Okay, you've seen that. They don't move much, do they? You want to become a corpse? Act like one. Move your fanny. Get out of your chair and do something. Movement is life. Get me? So get out of that chair, stop sitting on your gamer, stop watching your movies and sitting around doing nothing on computer. I'm on the computer for 17 hours a day. Then I go home, I'm so exhausted, I sit in my car and I sit in front of my TV set and let it wash over my brain. And then I go to bed just tired. Try moving. It will probably help. Okay? So if you do not have Max T3 on the go, get it. It's Max T3 for a reason because you're doing it 3 days a week for 12 minutes a day. 3 days a week, 12 minutes a day. Can you find 12 minutes a day, 3 days a week to move your fanny in the best possible way to make sure you don't get dementia, Alzheimer's, and all the rest of it? Good idea? Yes? If you do not have Max T3, get it tonight. Okay? It's on your sheet. I think it better be. It's not, pick one up anyway. Okay? Environmental toxins. This is the king. Okay? So, at the end of the seminar, if you come up to me and say, what should I can't get all this. This is way too much for me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This is the part. This is what you're going to walk out with. If you can get them all, get them all. But if you can't afford it, and this, what should I get as a minimum? This is the bugger. Number one, get your chiropractic appointment scheduled. Okay. Number two, pick up your detoxification because this is where the poison gets into the brain. Okay. So I love this slide so much. I love it, love it, love it. This is the capacity of the body for handling crap. Okay? Now, where does crap come from? Metabolic waste. Natural phenomenon. You put food into your body, it's going to process that food, and you got a tailpipe. You got to get stuff out, front and back. Right? That's how it works. That's normal, but they would get it from our metabolic waste, food products, alcohol, smoke, sugar. Pick all the crap that could possibly get into your body, and guess what? That's got to be dealt with by your liver. Okay? So this is the capacity of your body to deal with toxins. This is well, an empty bucket is good. This is the maximum tolerance, and there's no symptoms. Remember in the very, 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 very beginning of the program, I said you take an MRI and you see all that crap in your brain, you're screwed. This is how you don't get screwed. But Dr. Ray, I don't need to come to the brain program. My brain works just fine. I have no problems at all. I can remember everything. And they're going, what happened? You had the problem, but you didn't know it, right? So we got to make sure and empty our bucket. That's what we got to do. Now, once you get too much crap in the bucket, it starts to spill over into problems. Got it? So here's how she works. You get overloaded with the toxic waste. Turn on the faucet, the liver gets overwhelmed. Okay? Now the liver, instead of being the detoxification organ it was designed to do, begins to become a pass-through organ. In other words, the body, it's just going too fast. So dude, wait, no, don't leave yet. It's not time yet. I'm not done with you. Into the gut. So what it does, it spills over the bucket, comes out the faucet, ends up in your gut. Now, here comes the fun. The gut now has poison in it. Now we talked about the brain junctions, right? The tiny little junctions. The gut has tiny little junctions too. But the minute the poison touches those junctions, it damages the cells, widens the junctions, and guess what starts passing into the bloodstream? All the oxidative crap we talked about in the very beginning of the program, right? Then that stuff moves its way up to the brain, damages the blood-brain barrier, penetrates. Now you have the immune system, the microglial system fighting, and blah, blah, blah. You can start all over again, right? So this is how it ends up happening. You see why detoxification is a critical piece to brain function health? So you end up with the problems: Alzheimer's, dementia, and neurodegenerative diseases. So let's fix it. Yes? Yes or yes? What do you think? Don't you love this slide? Is this a cool one? I made the little faucet thing. I thought it was cool. I make all this stuff most of the time. You know that, right? This takes hours. Okay, so you're going to do metal binder. Heavy metal toxicity is the number one reason you end up with Alzheimer's. Okay, heavy metal toxicity. How do you know you have heavy metal toxicity? You have heavy metal toxicity. I don't have to tell you why. There's a lot of reasons. One reason, okay, metal binder and your detox system. Those are the two items you're going to walk out with tonight. This is what you want to do to protect your brain. Okay? Amalgam fillings, this is mercury, this is poison. Mercury is the second most toxic element on the planet Earth, and they put it in our teeth. That's what they used 100 years ago. Why would we change? Okay? I actually had all mine taken out, and I have no mercury on my face anymore. And it's crazy because they have to have these vacuum cleaner things that suck because when they grind it out, the mercury creates fumes, which vaporizes the mercury, and it gets in your nose and penetrates your brain. And all the dental assistants and the dentists and stuff, they have all this crazy equipment around, and it's just like, oh my God. And there's like all this stuff, and you can't, there's little goggles and you can't see anything. And they sucked all that crap out of my face, and now I got all the epoxy. Hope that's not dangerous. We'll find out later, right? So you get the idea. So any type of heavy metal inside of our body, if it's not just this, it could be any number of things because it's everywhere, right? By the way, if you're a welder or work in construction, welder's the worst. Why? Because you take metal, you strike an arc, and it becomes a vapor in your brain, right? You're just smelling it. You don't even know it. Aluminum chlorhydrate, it's great for your deodorant. Also poisons your brain. Aluminum-free body products and aluminum-free cookware. Stone cookware is best. Okay. Dr. David actually did a cool video on that, so watch the YouTube channel and check out all these little mini videos we put out. Use that stuff, man. That's what it's for. We make all this resources, and you guys are, oh, can I ask you a question? Yeah, go to YouTube, and it's about 1 million of videos on that. Okay? We're going to Dr. Brent's going to get it all reorganized. He swears he'll do it for me. Okay? So there's our old school pictures again. Yeah, doesn't that look like a maximized mind to you? Or does this? I don't know. Look like a triangle to me. What do I know? Okay, so join us. So how do you maximize your mind? Join us at events, seminars, dinners. Come to the programs. I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are here. But next one, I expect every single person that's here should be at the next one. When's the next one? Who can tell me? March 11th. Very good. Nicely done. When's the dinner? 21st. Nicely done. Okay, so come to the seminars. That looks like a spine, or does that look like a spine? I don't know. I think that looks more like a spine. What do I know? Okay, keep your adjustments on schedule, and if you've not gotten a set of x-rays, by God, please, I beg you, do it. Let's look and see. Let's just check. Let me check you. Just take an x-ray. What's it gonna cost you, really? 49 bucks. 49 bucks to find out if your nerve system is maximized, and then we fix it. Next, nutrition. It looks like one of those cards. What's the card? The diamonds. Okay. Pick up your brain supplements. What are they? Remember? Anybody? It's a brain supplement. Okay. This is for your body antioxidant, right? So it doesn't open the gap. Then we've got the NeuroFlam. This one will boost the immune system. That one is going to take away the oxidative damage inside your brain, right? Adrenal Revive. Remember, if you get too much cortisol, the brain gets less profusion of oxygen. You follow me? Remember the program? We're just summarizing. We're almost done. Okay? And the acetyl ACH. Remember this one? That's your caffeine without the crash and without the jitters. Pretty awesome stuff. Okay? What else we got? Oxygen and lean muscle mass. Pick up your Max T3, right? Give me 12 minutes a day, 3 days a week, and watch your brain grow. Okay? And detoxification. And this is the take-home one, guys. Remember? This is going to be our minimized toxic metal binder and the detox system. Got it? All right. Cool? I saw a picture coming out. I'm almost done. Can I move? I'm waiting on you, girl. Oh, okay. Can I move? Am I good? Okay, good. All right, mission. What is the mission of this office? We want to help as many human beings as we possibly can. That's what our mission is. And the challenge I've got, and you guys have heard me say it a million times, how many people in this country, and in fact this world these days, understand the medical system? 100% of us, right? I feel like crap. I go to the doctor. He gives me a drug. That drug quits working because the problem gets worse. I take a stronger drug, more powerful. Then I end up taking the surgery or the procedure, whatever needs to be done, the replacement or whatever they do. Then we start putting the full-time oxygen, the wheelchair, the misery, the sickness, the nursing home care, the mind care, and then we're miserable wishing we were dead. That's American healthcare. There's an alternative. That's making your body more healthy and living a lifestyle that chooses a path of health through the 5 essentials. You understand it? You understand it? We understand it? Guess who doesn't understand it? Everybody else. And why do you think we have such a drug culture in this world? Any idea? I don't know. I think pharmaceutical companies are benevolent. They love us. All they care about is us. Pfizer's mission statement: to get 100% of the world on a drug. That's their mission statement. Does it matter if you need it? Well, that's not relevant. It's my mission. It's kind of relevant. So how do you refer people to the office? If at all humanly possible, grab one of those QR reader cards. Have you guys seen those? I came up with that. Isn't that cool? Okay. But what you do is you run it like you're at the restaurant, and you the pretend menu that you have on your phone. And you tap it, and it takes you right to the scheduling page. Richard and I are sitting at dinner. Richard says, "Hey, man, I'm having some horrible back troubles. You know what? I got a chiropractor. He's really good. Check this out." And you're going to hold your phone up, and you put the QR reader, and put your name and phone number in there and schedule an appointment right now. It's that simple, right? If you got an iPhone, you take a picture of the QR reader, save it under the heart little favorites, your heart section or whatever, and you go to that. If you hold it down, it will open up the link. You can copy the link and email it to anybody, text it to anybody you want. So you're talking on the phone to somebody, You go, hey, let me send you this picture. But if you have an Android or whatever, they don't work. So what you do then is simple. You open it up on your phone and there's a little forward button on the bottom, or you can do it with an Android and you forward that whole section to your friends and they can schedule appointments. That's how we change a world. And I need your help to do it because I can't get on TV. I don't have this year, maybe next year, I don't have a Super Bowl commercial. Just don't. I wish I did. I wish I had enough money to put how do they cost? Anybody know the cost of Super? How much? $7 million for a minute or 30 seconds or whatever? I ain't got that much money. So I just got a big mouth and you guys got to help me spread the message. Please. What's that? Bam, we got it. Super Bowl commercial once we win the lottery.